The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths, in particular, Sally Hardesty and her invalid brother, Franklin. It is all the more tragic in that they were young. But had they lived very, very long lives, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see that day. For them, an idyllic summer afternoon drive became a nightmare. The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And we're back on the Scare Value podcast. We have lots of guests today. Martha's here.
I'm here again.
Ken is here from Taiwan.
Hello.
And Pete is here from finding his notes.
I found my notes from the movie Fresh, so I am all set to talk about the movie Fresh.
Right.
Excellent.
You're just in time.
Glad you didn't marinate. Hey, I have a question. Does anybody know who does the voiceover right there that you play?
Yeah, Pete's excited. He has it written down.
I do, because I saw it when I was looking for the best boy in the credits, and I saw that John Larroquette is
Yes, that's right.
Trying to do. I know things.
He returns to do them in the remake and in last year's one and in the sequel to the remake, all of which are terrible. I don't know what to say about them.
Wasn't Matthew McConaughey in one of them?
He was in the fourth one.
With Renee Zellweger.
Yep.
Yeah, which is also terrible.
That was a bad one.
The series is a lot of bad movies and one indisputable masterpiece that Pete is here to dispute.
I'm not here to dispute. I just don't get what all the hullabaloo is about.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, I want to get into, we're not going to do corrections and apologies. We're not going to do Nick Cage news.
I've got a correction. And I want to apologize for Fresh. The electric best girl was Maya Batten Young. So I apologize that I did not know her name, but she is the best electric girl.
Congratulations, Maya.
Can I have Pete apologize for something from a long time ago?
You can try, but I mean, we both know him pretty well.
Pete, I sent you some pictures of some slides, and you know what I'm talking about, Martha. Slides are things that Pete owns that he doesn't. I sent him some pictures. I've seen things on Instagram. They're even called slides in Chinese, and they write it in English, slides, and everything else is in Chinese on the tag.
Yeah,
so Pete,
those are flip-flops, man. You've got terrible translators. Terrible translators in Taiwan. Yeah, you're done because you know you're wrong. I expect a correction from you next time.
The only flip-flop Pete doesn't believe in is changing his opinion that is clearly wrong.
What?
Very.
Because I don't get the Texas Roadhouse Massacre?
Uh-huh. So I want to get into quickly why this is happening, because it is a sordid tale of Pete's broken mind. He's very upset that the world doesn't view the movie Poltergeist at the level of acclaim he believes it deserves.
No,
hold on. Ken. I told him it's great. It's a classic. This was not enough to satiate his hunger for Poltergeist.
It's not on any top 10 lists. What the fuck?
It's on Ken's top 10
It's on my
list.
top 10 list.
And you're in the top 10 list of my heart, Ken.
Yeah. Well, do you remember what number 1 was on his top 10 list? It was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, the reason he picked this movie, he'll never admit it, but the same day this all went down, this Poltergeist controversy of me saying it's great, which apparently was not enough, he picked the movie that Ken has number 1 on his top 10, and I have number 4. So it's the highest rated movie between the two of us. So he picked it and said, I think that's very good. And now here we are. Pete, did you even know they're directed by the same person?
But we know that.
Wait, say what now?
Did you even know they're directed by the same person?
Tobe Hooper?
Yes.
He was the guy from Jaws, right? The scientist? Hooper?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I know these things. It's good that he did this one first, because he had to figure out how to direct and stuff to make the masterpiece that Poltergeist is.
Which best boy to pick?
Which best boy to pick? You know what? Spoiler alert, there was no best boy on this movie, which I assure you there was one on Poltergeist, because clearly that's what this movie is missing, amongst other things.
Like color, and this is why Pete doesn't like it, because it's black and white, and he just doesn't watch black and white movies. That's my guess.
What movie's black and white?
It was not black and white.
No.
Oh, no, it was color. It's been a while since you've seen. Oh, let's start. I just watched Texas, whatever it's called, Chainsaw Massacre.
On black and white TV.
It's
in color?
There was some color. All right.
Oh, okay.
See,
Good.
I don't know why it's your
Move
number
on.
one. I can already see the pins falling.
Oh, go ahead, Pete. Tell us what you got out of watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time in 20 years. That I maintain I don't believe you saw the first time.
I did, because I watched it with you, sir.
Let's just say 1 to 10. Let's get a ranking first.
Oh, no. There's a better ranking here. It's how many bananas
Okay.
Pete gives it. Because we're going to save that to the end. But Pete said he has a new ranking system of bananas. So we're going to find out how many bananas Tobe Hooper's masterpiece Texas Chainsaw Massacre gets today.
Okay.
All right. So I watched the Outback Steakhouse Massacre, and as near as I can tell, there was a guy, and he was just hanging out, making his bone furniture, like all his chairs and stuff out of bones, and all of a sudden somebody comes into his house, so he freaks out and hits him with a hammer, then runs to his panic room, and he hides in his panic room. 5 minutes later, some girl comes wandering in. He freaks out again, hits her over the head, hides in his panic room, and it just keeps happening. All the man wants to do
If you
is
have a
make
panic
furniture.
room, you don't have to do that.
Well, I don't know. Talk to him. He seemed to have some kind of like mental problems or something. I will say too. After that, he went down and after the third victim, he went down and had himself a good long think, and you could tell like he was really confused about what was happening and what to do. His answer is to go run around with the chainsaw in the woods
In the dark.
in the dark. But that's what I took away from this movie, and it was all right.
All right.
It was all right. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff, but it was kind of comedic.
Yes, it was.
Right? Like
Yeah.
Leatherface running around with that chainsaw, he's more interested in dancing with the chainsaw than killing anybody. Like he obviously runs past the people when they take a left, when the final girl takes a left. He keeps going straight and then spins in circles before he turns himself around to chase her.
He has a Derek Zoolander problem. He can't turn left.
I never thought I'd say this, but Pete, I think you've missed the nuances of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, he's not wrong about one thing. It is a reverse home invasion movie. Pete and I talk about this often.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is a movie where he didn't go looking for anybody. These people continually come onto his property, and 3 of them in a row,
They
right
were
into his
warned.
house.
They were warned not to go. Like
Yes.
people don't like people coming into their property right when they went to that gas station at the beginning.
They got more than a warning. The movie opens, well, it actually opens at a cemetery with some pretty great visuals. But the hitchhiker is emblematic of what the movie is. These are educated young hippies that are invading rural small town values. And they get the reverse of that right from the beginning when they pick up the hitchhiker and they have the conversation about how they're putting down the animals, how they're putting down the slaughterhouse. And he's like, oh, no, the old way's better. The old way's better. And they're like, no, they have a painless way now that they can shoot him with the gun.
Well, it's not painless.
Well, more painless. And
Yeah.
he's like, no, you got to hit him. You got to hit him. And it's like, they're being confronted directly with what they're going to decide to encroach upon. And the warning is the most visual warning I've ever seen someone ignore. As he starts cutting his own hand, and then he cuts Franklin, and they're like, we should just go check out that house, I guess.
Fucking crazy
It
ass
is crazy.
shit.
It is a crazy beginning. Think about
Yep.
that. That's so like you think it's going to start like a normal movie, and then the hitchhiker they pick up isn't like some college kid hippie. It's like one of the psychopaths they're going to be dealing with for the rest of the movie.
Yes, there's the
It's a great
hitchhiker,
beginning.
Leatherface, and the cook, and Grandpa.
For some reason, I kept thinking the cook was like a sheriff.
I thought so,
seemed that
too.
way.
He seems very sheriff-like.
I thought he was too.
He's the gas station manager.
Yeah, he's a gas station guy. That's right.
It's the tone, the color of his shirt.
It is. He's got a classic late 70s, early 80s, gray, tan, whatever.
Brown?
Yeah.
Grayish brown.
Grayish.
Yes.
Grayish.
That's what every cop in every movie wore. But that's good. That's good work because you see him and you're
Smokey and the
naturally going to
Bandit.
trust him a little bit more.
Yes, 100%.
Because he's the only seemingly authoritative person around.
There was that drunk guy
They
at
let
the
him-
graveyard.
Yeah.
He knew what was up.
This is a proto-slasher because the rules of slasher movies didn't exist yet. So a lot of it comes from movies like this and Black Christmas. That was the same year, same day actually. They both, for the first time, aired on October 11th, which is the day this will come out. And so they don't have rules yet. So the number of things that you can see taken from this is probably the most of any movie ever. Because the setups are people in a van heading to an isolated place they shouldn't be. Guess what's going to happen there? They're going to get picked off one by one. There's a final girl. These things aren't established when they're doing them.
You've got the drunk hobo telling the rules at the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. They all the tropes are there without the tropes existing yet, which is why it's a classic.
Like Night of the Living Dead. It's like Night of the Living Dead. You creates the genre in a way.
All right.
What did you think, Martha?
I love Texas Chainsaw. It's just a lot of fun.
Why?
Well, for reasons Bryan just said, it starts the whole slasher genre. It sets up the rules for all the future movies that come after it. And it's also ridiculous. I like to laugh at people's stupidity.
Okay. Well,
I mean, if you weren't convinced it was a comedy, by the time they're trying to put the hammer in Grandpa's hand, you can't miss that it's a comedy.
Oh, yeah, to kill him at dinner.
Yes. It's a movie about the counterculture of the time and how the old ways deal with the encroachment of modern society on them. And you see what they do.
Exactly. And also reality. Like, it's the age of Aquarius versus the reality of Texas.
Yes.
The reality of reality, of it being a real thing.
I'm going to argue that
It's like
Texas is not reality, and we shouldn't dignify that by saying...
Listen. It's just the point, though. But they shot it in Texas. They're from Texas. Those people who wrote it are from Texas. And it's like a reaction to the 60s. It's like, they're doing tarot cards in the van or some crap like that, from what I remember.
Astrology.
The perfect.
Yeah.
See, if anything, I think Pete would agree with the message. It's don't bring your modern society to Texas.
Don't go to Texas.
That's what it is.
Right. Turns out one of my problems I discovered is I don't like Texas. So there you go. I had to sit there and listen to a bunch of Southern accents for, luckily, not more than an hour and a half.
From Sally's perspective, which is what we're supposed to see it through, Texas is the enemy.
Texas is always the enemy.
That's what she survives. So again, Pete's complaining about something that he agrees with.
A good friend named Tex.
That's a good question.
But it is a good question.
I thought Leatherface was the person that we followed in this.
Well, Pete, you said on the last podcast that 114 minutes is too long. That is the exact length of the movie Poltergeist. How long is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
83 minutes. Right in the Pete wheelhouse.
Poltergeist is 114 minutes.
It's 114 minutes.
That might be the only movie that is allowed to go past the 90-minute mark.
You can't see, but I rolled my eyes.
But just to point out,
I can feel the eye rolling from everyone.
Just to point out
you, Taiwan,
how good this movie is.
I'm not rolling my eyes because I know you're right about that. You are absolutely right about that.
Just to point out how good this movie is. Martha didn't know we were going to talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre today. She came over to talk about last week's episode, Fresh. And Pete said, well, when's the last time you saw it? And she said, I just watched it a couple weeks ago. Because it's great.
That's right.
I get that it
the
is
makeup, the effects.
The effects were good. I'll give it that. That was fun.
Come on.
It's that, but it's also combining, I think, the best set design I've ever seen in a horror movie.
The hook, yes, I agree.
That shot when she's getting carried to the hook, when you know what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
I'm shrugging my shoulders.
It follows an amazing shot where she gets up to walk to find her boyfriend, and the camera's beneath her so you can see her butt. But that's not why it's great. It's just it makes the whole image is so iconic and incredible as she slowly walks up to the house that she shouldn't be going into.
No, and then you walk in and you see a wall of bones, and that's definitely inviting. That says, "Come on in."
Yeah, exactly. You go from this really nice ripe piece of meat to bones.
She's later. Sally is tied to an armchair made of arms.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's pretty cool.
She's got hands underneath her hands, and she's trying to wiggle free. With the best scene, I think, in the movie, the dinner is completely psychotic.
Was that where she was?
The best scene.
She screamed for like the last 20 minutes.
She's a great screamer. What would you do? This is insane.
It's a family of men who finally caught a woman.
Well,
because their car broke down.
Ew.
Technically, they had caught a woman before that, and he just because he was confused, and he just hit her over the head and put her in a freezer.
That one was breaking and entering.
Well, that was him. When the family found out that there were women folk in the area, they all reacted properly, as well they were taught. I thought it was great.
They just wanted to eat her, though, right? Wait, are they cannibals? Did we establish this?
Yes.
Listen. We don't know what they were going to do, but the fact that when they closes the door, his body, as big as it is, the huge frame is like filling up the frame of the door, and then he shuts that sliding metal door like
the
at
panic
the slaughterhouse
room
inside. Is genius. Genius.
That's right. We can talk about.
It's such a great shot.
All the things it invented, but we got to talk about how it still did a lot of things better than I've seen. That first kill, there's no buildup, there's no music. He just stumbles. He walks into the house. He stumbles a bit. He looks up. He's like, "Oh shit!" and he gets killed with a hammer. There's no. It's just sudden, shocking, gone in a heartbeat, and it's like there was no buildup to it.
Yeah, just think how confused Leatherface was.
I like that Franklin was annoying.
Oh my
and that
God.
I couldn't wait for him to be killed. I
didn't
couldn't wait for him to be killed.
I didn't know you were allowed to hate handicapped people that much, but he's the worst.
You are. You
Yeah.
are. He's that annoying.
Franklin's the worst.
He was acting like
worst.
the crazy hitchhiker. He was when he had to wheel himself into the house when they were exploring the old homestead, and he's like spitting and going, "Oh, I'm having a good time now," blah, 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 just like the crazy guy did. So that made me think he was part of the family for a minute because he talked about his grandpa was from there. So, not in there. I don't know. I spent a lot of my time thinking of other names for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh boy, can we hear them?
Well, that is one of the best names ever, so you can't change it.
I've got the Florida Hammer Ambassador. I've got the Infectious Chainsaw Catheter. I've got the Bless Us Lighthouse Passenger. What else do I got here? Ooh, then I just switched over to acronyms, and that goes on for a while because it's the TCM. So I went to Turner Classic Movies, and I kind of got stuck. So that's just kind of what I think it is now.
It is a classic
Let me
movie.
just jump in real fast because the slogan is also great. You got John Larroquette, you got the title, which is like
Can I
probably one of
guess
the
it?
first titles. Yeah, but the slogan is what is
Who will survive and what will be left of them?
It's great. And you look at the end of the movie; she's totally insane. And the way they shot it was within like a week and a half or 2 weeks or something. And they just were kind of going nuts during the shooting as well. So I think you get that feeling. I think that's why it's so scary and why it lasts, and that's why I don't get why Pete doesn't get it, is because it's like the actors are actually quite terrified and going quite like they're going bananas, Pete.
Yeah, bananas.
And I think you get that when you watch the movie. I think you get it. Like everything is like inspired or nuts, and it's a great compilation of both. I think.
I agree.
I feel like it's suffering from a Lord of the Rings syndrome. It came first. Good for it. It's been done better since. There are things that have been done better. It's fine to watch, but it's like, this is like finding old archaeological evidence.
No, I'll give you that point. That's fair. But let's talk about the things, even though it did it first,
like the Lord of the Rings.
Does do better. No, we're not getting into that. That's horseshit. That's horseshit. You're going to get muted for that shit.
That's the next podcast.
I'm not coming to that.
I'm not. No, we're going to do watch-alongs for all the extended cuts.
All right.
I don't want to be a part
Of
of
Lord of the Rings.
Carve out a week and a half of your life
it. No thanks.
to watch fucking orcs and shit walk around talking to slow trees. God, I hate those movies.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. How about that guy who's the little elf guy that's looking for the ring? I like him.
Little elk. Oh, those.
Precious.
Oh yeah, I like him. He's a hobbit.
Anyway, we're really done with the Lord of the Rings.
No, we're gonna keep talking about it.
Moving on.
Aragorn in the books.
Anyway.
Strider?
Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, not
So
sorry.
yes, there are things that are done better later because this invented them. But this movie does things that other movies never did as well. I don't think any movie ever did a chase better than Leatherface chasing her in the woods at night, because it's the first. I think it might be the first time that's ever happened in a movie. Because I was thinking about this as the proto slashers. I looked up all of them, and Black Christmas doesn't have that chase scene, and Psycho doesn't have that chase scene, and all the other ones that are kind of like inspired what slashers become. They may have a chase scene, but nothing as vibrant and as frantic as how close he is to her with that chainsaw running behind her. It's insane.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, that is insane.
I don't think that's ever been done better. And my favorite chase is Friday the 13th Part 2. And it's much longer, but it's not this. It's not as panicked and intense. And
She was still screaming. I had a headache after the whole dinner scene.
what would you do?
Not go to Texas. The end.
Yeah, that's true.
But they live in Texas, Pete. It was a idyllic summer Sunday drive. That just means they're from Texas.
Well, then they got what's coming to them from living in Texas. I don't know why I had to watch this movie.
But it's you should like it though. It's saying Texas is dangerous and horrible and backwater, and you shouldn't. It's never going to modernize. And it was very prescient in a way.
So at the very end, after
Totally
she escapes, what happens to the trucker?
The guy that stops to save her and
Yeah.
has to run out the side door.
Yeah.
Scarred for life.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Leatherface doesn't chase after him, and the cook doesn't kill anybody, as we learn, and the hitchhiker's dead, so he just gets away.
It has a crazy story to tell.
He seemed kind of out of shape. I don't know how far he's going to get in Texas.
But nobody's chasing him. So
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm worried about him.
Yeah. And you liked the laugh that Barbara Crampton had at the end of From Beyond. This is a pretty good I'm completely insane now,
Oh my God.
but I survived laugh.
Lost her mind.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Barbara
pretty much
Crampton
every
did it
movie
better.
Pete likes owes most of it to this movie.
That's
which is
another
weird.
thing, yes.
That's fine. That's true, but it's been done better since.
Okay,
I
give me some
disagree.
examples.
I totally disagree.
Well, Barbara Crampton was in some movie, and she screamed at the end, but, you know, well, she
Laughed.
didn't scream, she screamed, laughed, and you showed the insanity. Done much better than the
I
final.
don't think
earlier.
anyone's ever done it better than in
No,
this end
wait,
of this
it's the
movie.
best film.
It's the best one.
It was overexposure. She screamed for too long. Just too much. Noise. Come on, people. Can we
She's
just
tied
quiet?
to a chair
Pete
made
would've
of
killed
people.
them much earlier. Pete
Yeah.
would have had the job done. Go to bed.
Starting to wonder if I should watch the movie The Quiet Place.
I'm
I haven't
starting to
seen
wonder
that
if
one
you should
yet,
watch
but-
the movie The
Oh, it's
Texas
good.
Chainsaw Massacre.
You mean Turkeys
Yeah.
Can't Maneuver? Yeah, I saw that one.
I think Pete had his eyes shut for more than half the film. That's my guess. Terrified.
I watched it. I really just keep coming back to, I have nothing else to say. You guys have not convinced me that just being first makes it the best of all time. You guys have ranked
Literally
this number
nobody has
one.
said the reason it's great is because it was first.
No. When I saw it, I had already heard how famous it was, so my expectations were relatively high, and it still surpassed my expectations. And I was in my 20s.
I was 19, I think, when I saw it for the very first time.
The set design is better than anyone I've seen. The urgency in the third act of the movie is better than anyone I've ever seen. The sheer place they put her of absolute terror. Yes, she's going to scream for the whole thing. She's tied to a person. Will people try to kill her, and the dead grandpa's alive, and he's going to suck her blood out of her.
He's a vampire, basically.
And every bad portent that she ignored the whole way is now sitting at the fucking table with her. It's
Does Pete know
the ultimate horror.
Does Pete know the parts, the acts, the 3 acts? I don't, because I haven't seen them forever. But
Well,
Pete, do you
we'll
know
see
the
what he
3
comes
acts?
up with. I have them, but go ahead.
I know. I'm sure.
I just told you at the beginning of this podcast, Leatherface is there, making his furniture, living his best life. People start breaking into his house. He's not ready for it, so he has to sit down and think and come up with a plan, but that's not his strong suit. So that's Act 1 ends with him sitting down and having that big think and figuring out what to do.
That is not correct, but continue.
Act 2 ends...
So you say that Act 1 ends after he's already killed 3 people.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Naturally.
Naturally. And then Act 2 starts with him thinking. Then it ends, I think, when he runs outside with his chainsaw, and the rest of the third act is him and his chainsaw.
I continue to believe... Okay, that happened 5 minutes later? So this is a 5-minute second act?
Yes.
Okay. The first act ends when they reach the old family home, having ignored every warning the entire step of the way. And the third act begins when the sack gets put over her head and she finds out the cook is in on it.
Why did the cook keep hitting her with the broom?
Because it's
Shut
hilarious.
her up
Oh, yeah, because she kept screaming. See? I think I know where my allegiances lie in this movie.
with the cook.
When she discovers that there's no way out and she gets taken back to the house, that is... That if you didn't know it was
That's
a comedy...
great spot. When she thinks she finds safety, and then she's brought right back. That is such a great...
And she's looking around. She sees all the meat that's being cooked. And she's like,
It's definitely people.
Oh, that's people.
How is it? I didn't see anything that said it was people. That's why I wonder.
No, it's just showing you that it's like, this is worse than you think. Because you've seen him start to carve people up and put them in freezers. It's like, oh, this is people meat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It implies it.
Yeah.
It's the implication.
Just like the hook. You never see her actually break the skin. It's one of the most horrific shots, but it's all implied.
Feels gross.
Yes.
It gives you the heebie-jeebies.
I remember that from when I was 19. That's the scene. That was the trivia that everyone had. Like, oh, you never actually see the hook go into her body.
It's a shockingly bloodless movie, except that they cake Sally Hardesty with blood before she gets out because she keeps jumping through windows 2 times.
Right.
A champion final girl who doesn't hesitate ever. If there's a window on the first or second floor she can jump out of, she's out.
Exactly. It's awesome. That's an awesome escape, isn't it?
Yep.
I didn't think about that.
I love the sound effects too. They still use them, and other movies still steal them or pay for them. I don't know, but it's that light bulb flashing thing. I remember when they did the reboot.
God.
That is the best, and other movies use it too. They alter it slightly. So I mean, there's so many things in that movie. And that movie was made by college students and a college professor.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone tells. I mean, the fact that you can make something that classic and last that long is amazing on nothing, on no money.
And again, in a genre that doesn't exist yet. And you just
Exactly. It's
made
just
it up.
Genius.
What was the light bulb sound you guys are all talking
At the beginning,
about and nodding?
at the beginning, when you start seeing flashes of body parts, because it's like being documented by, a photographer.
Right. Mm-hmm. I told you about it when the first one came out about 30 years ago.
The flash bulb.
I don't remember the sound.
Yeah, it's like it goes.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh,
Yep, must be good.
the
Like
trucks.
And then you're right back into darkness, and you're waiting to see what the next horrific image is going to be. And it's like, oh, that's like a melted hand. Oh, that's like, yeah.
All right, that's fine. Who was the college professor who made this movie?
Tobe Hooper.
Who were the college students?
The actors.
The actors.
I see. Who was Leatherface?
Gunnar Hansen.
He was a big guy. Gunther Hansen, right?
Gunnar Hansen.
Gunner.
Has he done anything else since then?
Not as much as you
he
think.
did Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
One of the things about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is it destroyed every actor's career, and they never got to do anything of note almost ever again because they didn't want to be associated with it. This movie was a giant hit that got buried in most countries, and there's some places where you couldn't see it for so long that it's stunning because again, it's
Taiwan. When I got here, you couldn't watch it.
But you freed it.
Was that?
Did you get it freed out there?
Or is it still locked up?
I just saw it. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. That and The Shining, two that were banned because they were too scary.
Yeah.
And yet, in France, it was put into the Museum of Modern Art.
Yep.
Hey, speaking of France, did you guys know that the word massacre is French in origin? I looked that up. So
Massacre.
I bet you that's a French word.
Massacre.
Sometimes your notes explain to me why you don't understand the movies you watch because you're looking up the origin of the word massacre when you should be watching the movie.
Did you know that chainsaw is a saw that cuts with a chain?
Did you know that was made for
C-sections.
Thank you, Martha. That's what they were invented for.
Women's health care.
Did you know that?
That chainsaws?
Yeah.
That's what it was invented for. It was for C-sections.
Did you know the title of this movie? It has chainsaws 2 words for some reason that I've never been able to figure out.
I saw that when I was making my acronyms. I said, what is this nonsense where chain and saw are separated?
Everybody says TCM. This one, it's actually...
TCSM.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to do with that
S&M.
acronym.
Ooh. S&M, I get it. Yeah.
Was there?
Sexual massacre.
Yeah.
That's fresh.
Kinda.
That was fresh, yeah.
The Turtle Sexual Massacre.
Pete,
I like it.
Do you want to play a really quick Mrs. Kittner game on this one?
Oh, yes. The Mrs. Kittner game is guess the age of the actors involved in the movie.
Ooh, fun.
I only got one.
Who?
Okay.
I only got one.
Who are we guessing?
How old's Grandpa in this movie?
Let's start with Franklin.
I only have one.
Fuck
I
Franklin.
have. How old is Grandpa in this movie?
It was very funny when Franklin got chainsawed. Leatherface didn't even want to really kill him, just having fun with his chainsaw. I think this was the third act was Leatherface and chainsaw. Franklin just got in the way.
How old is Grandpa in this movie?
Anyway.
19.
Anybody else got a guess?
27.
Ken?
25.
He's 20 years
25.
old. Pete is the closest without going over.
Damn.
Yeah.
Price is Right rules.
You know why? Because, Ken, you told me they were college students.
Yep. Very good, Pete.
I suspected after that what he was wearing was makeup or prosthetics of some kind to make him
Why did they
appear
get
old.
25?
I can also tell you the cook, who is sometimes credited as old man, was 53 years old. But that seemed right. It didn't seem that out of place to me.
No, that looks
Yeah,
right.
I would have pegged early 50s on that one.
So that guy, good for him.
Keeping it fresh.
Fresh.
Well, I still think it's just the first one, and that's why people like it so very, very much.
I think it just sets a
That's not why
precedence and
people
a
like it, though.
tone. And it's innovative.
Do you guys jump back and say, hey, you know what I'm in the mood for? Some Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's
Yes.
a fun in.
Martha watched it within the last 2 weeks without knowing we were going to cover the movie.
Just for fun. I don't.
Yeah.
See, I wouldn't turn this one on for fun.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
You know
They
what it
just
made
had
me
a
think of?
very big hit video game come out, which is just playing this movie out, which is with, a bunch of people trying to run away from 3 murderers.
Wasn't that the
Yes, the same people made it.
the Jason one?
Yeah, same people made it. They made a Texas Chainsaw Massacre one, so somebody's playing as the cook and the hitchhiker and the Leatherface, and then you're running around as one of the victims trying to survive. Yeah.
Nice.
That was 49 years later.
Okay, I had another
Pete,
point.
I think you should tell us some movies that you think are better than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the same genre.
I agree.
Other than Poltergeist.
No, just
You
for
took away my answer, Martha.
Poltergeist is fine. I'll give it to you because I know you're insane. But give us something else.
Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
You think that's better than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I'd put that one on before I'd put on Texas Chainsaw.
That's
I had
not
the
the
same
question.
vibe.
I know you
That's
like
not the
that
question.
one. I turned it off after 10 minutes. That's all I got to say, Peter.
Really?
Sorry, I never meant to tell you that, but that's the truth.
I did like that
Oh,
one.
I like it too.
Yeah, and I
I
feel
know, I
like
heard it's good. I heard it's good. It's not my thing.
it's another
Meant it
reverse
worked.
home invasion. In fact, while I was sitting here watching the Texas Chainsaw thing, I also now I want to watch Summer School because there's a chainsaw in that one. That was his name, Chainsaw. I believe from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes, they were obsessed
Yes,
with
it
it.
was.
Right,
It
so
was.
I almost watched that last night instead of this movie because I was like, ooh, it's been a while since I've seen Mark Harmon in something.
Which is a great movie, actually.
It's Mark Harmon and Courtney Thorne-Smith and the late Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley's dead?
Yes.
Yeah,
How come everyone we bring up on this podcast is dead?
Joe Hill.
Oh, man.
that's why. He murdered them as a toddler.
No, that was my thought was...
What did they write the letters for in summer school? They got free. Someone got free sunglasses, right? I think it was Chainsaw.
See, this is why we got to watch that movie again.
Well, hold on. I'm still waiting to hear any slasher movie that did something better.
Well, it was...
Yes, go
I
on,
just
Pete.
did. I just did the reverse home invasion movie in the same genre that was
It's
Tucker
not.
and Dale
I
versus Evil.
refuse to let it be stated that it's better than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
We need 3 movies, Pete. Three more movies.
I don't know 3 movies. All
think so.
right. Wolverine Origins. That's a slasher movie.
Huh?
Wolverine
What's that?
Origins.
What?
Wolverine is a guy who can't be killed, and all he does is stab people.
No, my what is like a rhetorical, like, what the hell are you talking about? What? Like,
You
what?
guys are putting me on the spot. I don't know 3 movies.
This has gone off the rails.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
We're putting you on the
Sorry,
spot.
Martha, bring it
Your
back.
position is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre isn't actually that good. I want to go back to the first point you made. Now you have to defend yourself.
The box office would disagree with you because they made it for like 100-something K.
The Passion of the Christ made like $1 billion, and that thing seems like a steaming pile. So box office.
you watch
nothing.
it?
No, you know why? Because who cares?
Well,
That's
then
another
how-
there. That's another slasher movie. Jesus is a zombie, right? Is that what that one's about? I
So
don't
you're
have
saying
to-
that one's better?
The premise
That's
here,
fine.
the premise here, guys, is you were all so outraged. I just think it's all right, maybe for a movie. You guys haven't swayed me in any way.
Pete. Nobody's outraged.
Pete,
We're just
I want to make
curious
this
as to why.
as clear as I can make it. The onus is not on the rest of the world to explain to you why it's great. You have the differing opinion. You have to explain to us why it's not.
I just don't. It's old and it's all right. It's nice if you want to look at something as the very first one out of the gate. It sets up a lot of the stuff, but it's just been done. It's been done in other movies, and I've seen it so many times. Maybe before I watched this movie, so I was like, oh, I see where it started. It's like
I have a-
Can you appreciate it for what it is for starting it?
yeah, but like I appreciate the first Olympic people. They were like good for them for starting it, but
No, you
everyone's
don't. You
way-
notoriously don't.
I don't care about the Olympics.
But,
One time
but
I
you're
watched
saying
it.
Usain Bolt would win those races.
Yes, of course. That's
So
exactly
all we're
what I'm
asking
saying.
for is what's the Usain Bolt of Texas Chainsaw Massacre that you watch a slasher movie that posts this and go, oh, that's the much better version of this.
Exactly. Which Texas Chainsaw Massacre even comes close to this one?
The one with Renee Zellweger that they put under wraps until Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger got famous, and
That
then
one
they
was
released it.
terrible, dude. That was terrible.
I never saw it. I just
I think
assume.
every single movie in the series has been terrible except for this one, and that is the truth.
I don't
Oh,
hate
we
this
saw that one
movie.
together, Pete.
Did we? I think we might have. I saw one with you,
Yeah.
Brian.
You never saw this movie.
Yeah, and I was telling you about
we went over
that
this
sound
again.
effect in the movie theater. I go, oh, that's from the original. And then you're like, eh?
Which one had Jennifer Beal running around?
Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel.
That
No,
was the-
Jennifer's body.
That was the 2003 remake that I just watched and wrote 1,800 words on because I couldn't stop bitching about how it's not the movie's fault. But because of that movie's success, we went through 8 to 10 years of nothing but remakes. Soulless cash-in remakes.
That
And
was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
yes,
right?
the
Do your
remake
thing, cuz.
that was that you get further down the line on that one. Yeah,
I
is
saw
the,
that one in the theater with you.
The remake. Yes,
Yeah.
The entire time I believe you've been talking about the remake. To be completely, I
I think I saw it with you. The bill wasn't there.
agree. I wasn't there. Your memories are pretty shoddy on this movie.
I watched it yesterday. I watched her screaming. Maybe that was part of it. I watched the rest of it this morning at 6 a.m. and it was just her screaming in my ear for 20 minutes.
Did you just have a headache?
Maybe.
Did you not drink your coffee before you?
Why did you put your ear to the TV?
So many
You need to turn it down.
Well, I had it down real low because everyone was sleeping, so I had to put my ear to the TV.
What a way to wake up your kids in the morning. Just
You guys bust in there with a chainsaw.
Nice.
That would be my son doing that to me, I'm sure. It's only a matter of time. Maybe that's my problem with this movie, is that the 3-year-old knows how to use a chainsaw, and he's probably going to use it on me.
Well, again, Ken had this as his number 1 movie of all time, and it was my number 4, so it's the
horror movie for
yeah.
sure.
Top 5 of our lists.
Of
we're gonna have to have Martha do a list too.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, the top 10 list, and then we'll see. We'll get someone else because Pete won't do it, so we'll have 2 more lists to go.
I'd like to redo my list as well.
I did do a list. I had a list. We did
it for this Poltergeist 4 times. There's 10 times on it.
I know Pete's first one is Poltergeist.
I'm gonna add Tucker and Dale versus Evil now.
This is just a spite list.
This is pile on Pete marathon.
It's more of the movies I remember the titles to list.
Well, I think that you're a fool. I don't know what else to say.
They should make Leatherface versus which one would be good here? Like they did Jason and Freddy. I know you guys talked about that one before.
Yep.
So if you were to make a Leatherface versus some, historical.
I'd like to see Leatherface versus Pete.
I'm going to help him make furniture. I'm not going to enter someone's house. I barely leave my own house.
He's going to knock at the door politely, wait for him to answer, and say, I brought the level.
What if you could control crows, Pete? Would you be in the movie? If you could control the crows, that was your part. Like you were the crow man.
Well, yeah. Mila Jovovich could control the crows in Resident Evil 3, I believe. Apocalypse.
Oh.
I didn't write it down, but as I was like you looking for the best boy, you know what this movie did have, Pete? A boom man.
I did see that, but that's not as funny.
We didn't know Boom Man was a thing until Gremlins, and now I guess it's a thing.
The Boom Man it's nice to see him, but I was really looking for that best boy. No, I guess it's just a crazy family, right? That's what we're left with.
Sure. But do you have any interest in the counterculture nature of the story?
You keep using this term counterculture.
Yes, it is one of the most 1974 movies that you could possibly make. As the boomers are invading old society, the old world, and it's the expansion of ideas and thoughts and free love and free thinking that just they don't want that shit. Does that help at all?
How wrong they are.
Make that movie into something that's more than just the first one to do it. But
it would seem like the Leatherface family was more counterculture, were they not?
No, they were the culture being intruded upon. Is evidenced by 3 times someone literally walking into their house.
Today's accepted culture, but at that time they were the counterculture.
I don't think eating people and butchering them was the accepted culture, even for Texas.
It's Texas.
He was
even for Texas.
Surgery. It was surgery for women, their cervix.
Oh, I got to rewatch the movie with that. He was a doctor.
That's right.
And he was just trying to help. Because it was all free love in the 70s. They didn't use birth control. Just coming off, they're all hippies. They probably need. And was abortion legal? Was Roe v. Wade a thing? No, I don't think it was. That was 76, maybe? But that wasn't a thing.
It was 76 to 2021.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
This is like when Pluto stopped being a planet again. Like, I don't know where I fall on this.
Aw, poor Pluto.
I know. So, Pete, the time has come. I've written down the words here because we got to find out how many bananas it is. So I've written down, come Mr. Tally Man, tally me banana.
I give it 2.
2 banana?
2 banana.
Out of how many banana?
Out of no, there's no.
There's no limit on the banana?
Out of a bunch.
Yeah.
A bunch. Got it.
Yep.
What was your favorite part of the movie, Pete? Your favorite part? Was it Franklin? What was it?
Honestly, it's Leatherface. It's got to be, right? Like, I just go back to how confused he was when he sat down in his bone chair trying to figure out what was happening. I think he knew that something was wrong and he did something wrong and he didn't handle it in the best situation. You could tell by his pensive licking of his lips.
Yeah.
And then...
How about that, though? How about just take Leatherface as a character and see how they give him like a full character arc where you understand him better. He's the giant in the door that you're terrified of. But as time goes on, it's like now he's pensively thinking about it, like what's happening in this house. And then his I don't know if it's his father. I don't know what the cook actually his relation is. I know the hitchhiker's his brother. I don't know the cook's relation. It seems like a fatherly one because a brother doesn't say, "Look what your brother did to the door." It's just weird.
Yeah.
But you see him, and he's just like a terrified, abused, mentally handicapped person. And
Pete,
they
who
don't
does
have
that
arcs
remind
like
you
that.
of on this podcast the most?
Say that again, Ken, I'm sorry?
If you had to pick anybody to play Leatherface from this podcast, who would it be?
Obviously me.
James Earl Jones.
No, anybody of the four of us.
Of the four
Who
of
would
us?
make the best Leatherface?
Oh, Martha, bold of you to claim that one right out of the gate.
Yeah, I know, it's a little scary, Martha. She's your next door neighbor, eh?
She is sitting here with a skin mask on as we're talking.
I am. It's not a visual medium.
Hey, I haven't seen your husband lately.
Well, you see his face.
He looks out the window from time to time.
It's not a stick.
He's
Looking for you.
he's upstairs in that rocking
He's
chair.
trying to get out. He's got a chisel.
It's not a stick, it's a golf club. Because he golfs a lot.
No, from the Leatherface perspective. I think I watched the movie. Did you not hear my 3 acts? That's how I watched this film.
Anyway.
I did, but you somehow still missed his character arcs.
He put on a dress. He was transitioning.
Do you know who he's based off of?
Ed Gein? Gein?
Gein.
Gein?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Good job.
I tried it 3 times and I got it wrong each
Which
time.
I believe, I might be wrong, but he is like one of the only serial killers to get away with the insanity defense.
He was in Wisconsin?
Possible. It was the 50s, yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's right. He's also, his story's a lot of the basis for Psycho and for, so it had to be pre-60. And
And he did not kill that many people.
Silence of the Lambs.
No, he dug up a lot of people out of
Yeah, he dug
graveyards,
up a lot
which
of
is
Oh, so that's
the
what they were
beginning of-
doing at the beginning of this one. Okay.
He also had a belt made out of nipples.
Ooh.
I have one of those,
Kinky.
but it's not what you think. It's not what you think.
I like they had a face, he put a face over a light, so that was the lampshade.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah,
Halloween
he did
decoration.
the lampshade. Yeah, that's a good
It was
one.
a human face?
Yeah.
Where was that?
It was in the dinner scene.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the setting was a lot on Ed Gein, but I don't think the killings actually were, because he kind of like lured people into his house, Ed Gein did, and killed them while they were eating or like sitting down. You know, he was like chasing them through the woods with chainsaws. So
No.
it's a real stretch to say, because I think in the trailer or whatever they say it's like based on a true story. It's pretty loosely based on that.
Well, that's
story.
how everything is based on a true story.
It's fine. Yeah. But it is a great part of that like exploitative 70s cinema that I like. It's like they'll just
Oh, it's the most
they
grindhouse feel.
they're just trying to get you to watch it. Yeah, they're just trying to get you in the door. You know?
It has that raw feel, but it's filmed by somebody who really knows how to compose a shot. So it's it doesn't feel, even though it's dirty and sweaty and hot, and you feel all
It doesn't
that,
feel cheap.
it doesn't feel
Crappy,
cheap
yeah.
because he's got really interesting stuff. But the decor that he gets to show in the house is incredible.
I will say
So
that
he frames
decor
some
is very-
beautiful stuff.
the set design is really cool for the house.
But even just like to get into the cinematography of it, when you see her perspective and she's looking down the table,
Yep.
it's incredible. Like that shot is amazing.
Yeah, it's a great scene. That's a classic. That's a shot they often put along with promos for that movie.
Yeah.
Is that shot right there?
And Grandpa's sitting down at the end.
I didn't know
Grandpa
Grandpa
trying
was
to kill her
alive.
with the hammer is hilarious.
Yes.
It is. So it was meant to be comedic.
Of course it is. They're walking in the house.
It's funny, but I'm already scared to death. I'm already in her position. I'm like, you know what I mean? And then he's trying to like feebly.
Pete, the
put a hole in her
cook, the
head
cook
with
is
a
dragging
hammer.
Sally in with a sack over her head and says, "Look what your brother did to the door."
It's so damn funny, man. It's so damn funny.
I'd be the cook. The cook who gets called out for not being as crazy as the rest of them. They belittle him for not liking
Well,
murdering
that's why
people.
he's out of the house, right?
Yeah.
That's why he's out of the house and functioning in society and dragging people back to the house.
He's also,
that's his thing.
incidentally, the reason they end up breaking into that house in the first place, because he has no gas.
Right.
And they hear the
Right.
generator and say, they must have gas. I'll trade him my guitar and some money and see if we can get some gas.
He didn't have a guitar,
I'll bet
by
you-
the way. So
Didn't he?
I'll
No,
bet
when
you
he was
had-
walking.
And I'll bet
Not
you
with
had
them.
gas.
Yeah, because he knows they have gas because they're running the
Right.
generator.
Well-
They're running the generator to keep the freezers going.
see, that's shoddy script work. He's like, I'll
That's
trade him my
amazing
guitar.
script work.
He didn't have the guitar with
Why
him.
would
What's
he
gonna
carry
do?
the guitar with him?
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for some gas today.
The guitar's in the van.
Yeah.
You can just go back for it.
Yeah.
Well, he
Like,
should have done
You know,
that
when
then
they bring the
before.
gas.
Maybe if he had a guitar in his hand when he broke into Leatherface's house, he wouldn't have gotten hit in the head with a hammer.
Who was your favorite of the
Could
victims?
have avoided all that.
Franklin.
Leatherface.
You liked Franklin?
Oh, favorite.
Leatherface is a victim?
Again, who was minding their own business at the start of this movie?
Everyone.
All right, then. Who violated that minding your own business?
I like Jerry,
Franklin.
who is Sally's
Franklin.
boyfriend.
It's
Yeah.
so social interaction.
The reason I like
Terrible.
him is that he doesn't have any personality trait outside of that perm.
Wait,
Agreed.
the boyfriend of,
Yeah.
is it Sally? Is that her
Yeah.
name?
Yes. I'm
Yes,
fine
Sally
with that.
Hardesty, one of the most famous, iconic characters in the history of film. Very good, Pete.
I meant Franklin was my favorite when he died.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
He was annoying as shit.
Yeah, mine.
That's the
mine
first
too.
murder that
Mine
Leatherface
too.
can't easily explain
I was
away.
waiting for it.
It was not an accident.
I don't like that. I like that he was handicapped and they made him so
'Cause he
annoying.
deserved it.
I just love that. It was
Yeah.
just the best. And it goes to like the survival of the fittest idea, like against these people that are sort of like they run out of gas or whatever, and they got to stop in this place. And this guy can't even get around on his wheelchair without bitching and moaning. Everyone's got to fucking help him. And it's like, yeah, that is the new generation, isn't it? And then you're going to meet the old generation. I love it. Great.
Any of this working for you?
No, Franklin was annoying.
Yes.
I get it.
Yes, he's supposed to be.
He couldn't, it's not just moving around without complaining. He couldn't sit around without complaining about something, which is fine.
Oh, and that voice, his voice, it was a great character.
All of their voices, they all had southern accents. Terrible to listen to. Worse
How
than
about
her
this-
screaming, I think.
Her screaming at the end is so good in the truck, and him waving that chainsaw at the very
The
end
chainsaw dance.
is just the best. It's the best. That's the best shot of the movie for me. I love those two shots actually, but that ending is just great cinematography, especially with him swinging it like up and down,
Oh, I
like going
love-
and turning in a circle. And I'm like, dude, that guy's gonna cut his leg off, man.
I
Like,
love-
you're really thinking like this is insane. This movie is crazy.
I love that her escape happens right as day breaks, and she jumps out the window, and you can see the sun has
isn't that
risen.
beautiful?
It's so
That's a great shot.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she
is.
looks up, and you see
I
that
love
the
that she
sun's
jumped
out.
out that window. That's
Yep.
insane.
That's the second window. She jumped out of the second floor too.
Yeah, man, that's the best. That's fucking great. I love that. And when she does it, you really don't expect it because you know they are upstairs. So
Yeah.
you really don't expect that. It's so unexpected. You're like, damn, you really wanted her to live then. You're kind of curious to see what's going to happen. And when she jumps out, you're like, holy fuck, she's crazier than them.
She pulled a Gordon the dog from Friday the 13th Part 4, who, if anybody's seen this movie lately, they're upstairs, they're trying to run from Jason. He sees Jason, just turns and says, fuck this,
it.
and jumps out
I
the,
think I might have seen that.
Bye.
shatters the window, and just we never see him again.
Nope,
I think he
Gordon
committed
knows what's
suicide. No, I think Gordon committed suicide.
I haven't seen that movie in a very long time.
When we did the Part 5 watch along, I mentioned that he had a dog that committed suicide, and like 3 seconds later, he pulled out his wallet and he had a picture of him with the dog, and I was like, oh, there he is. There's Gordon.
Gordon.
You know, 2 banana.
I give it a solid
This-
2 banana. It's all of these things you mentioned are right. I really like the Leatherface dance. I think that scene. I think the set design is great. I think I guess the screaming is all right. I guess if you guys are so convinced. So
Did the intensity
Were you
of
scared?
no, it was again comedic.
yeah, it's
right?
supposed to be.
Fair enough.
Right.
Did
Okay.
the intensity of the chases work for you?
No, it's just long. I've never been frightened by any chases. I don't get it. It's like all right.
I didn't ask if it scared you. I asked if you could just at least feel the urgency of the moments. He's
Up to a
right
point.
behind her. Yeah.
I think I went a little long. You can only run through brambles for so long before I'm tired of watching.
Did you
them
have to
run.
pee while you were watching this movie?
He paused it with 21 minutes to go, as he always does, and watched it the next day.
I took a little nap. I was tired. I got tired of her screaming. Goddamn.
Okay, so Pete doesn't like the movie.
It's
I think it's all right.
unbelievable.
I gave it 2 bananas.
2 banana.
It's 2 banana.
It's better than 0 banana.
It's not like you didn't give
Much
it.
better. That's math
Yeah,
I
it's
also
like
know
you
how
took
to
away
do.
a banana. Sometimes Pete will take away a banana, like Cletus Tout. That's like minus, I think, infinite bananas.
That's like a pear. We're going completely off.
How many
here.
how many bananas does Woody Allen's movie Bananas get? It's got to have at least one.
I don't know that
It's right
I've
there
ever
in the
seen a
title.
Woody Allen movie.
They're not that great.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Annie
Seems
Hall's pretty
slow.
good.
Yeah. Seems like an old movie, too.
Oh,
I want to say, I don't dislike this
Our
movie.
Annie Hall podcast is coming up. He's going to be really mad that someone else tried to make the same joke later. He's going to be mad that 500 Days of Summer has a similar plot to it. He's going to be like, oh, done better.
It has.
GGL.
There you go. I like GG.
I feel like you're using the fact that it was first to blame it.
No, I don't. I really like it. My problem is that everyone thinks it's this greatest thing ever as far as horror goes. I don't. It's just not one.
Just
I'm going.
is.
Like Martha, you stick it on for fun. That's how I kind of judge movies. Is am I going to put this movie on for funsies because I
Yeah.
feel like what? And I don't fall there. That's what this movie does for me.
What's the last movie you watched for
Fair
fun?
enough.
The last movie I watched for fun was probably Tucker and Dale versus Evil. No, what did I watch? This is going to be a long pause here, guys. Talk amongst yourself. I'm going to have to retreat.
Mine was
and think.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nobody's mentioned Nick Cage yet.
No, we're not doing that
As
today.
long as this podcast has ever gone.
Hey guys, do you know who got Johnny Depp started in acting?
Yeah, Wes
Nicolas
Craven.
Cage.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
They were playing Monopoly one night, and Johnny Depp was like, "Man, I think I'm going to go with this music thing." And Nicolas Cage was like, "No, man, you need to act." And guess he gave him his what are those people who book you things? Agents. Mm-hmm. He said,
Leatherface.
Let my agent do your job. Let go talk to my agent. You know what movie he got an audition for?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm. Thank you, Nicolas Cage.
That's not 100% accurate
It's
because he
100%
wasn't
accurate.
there to audition for that movie. Mm-hmm. No, they literally.
I saw her in the hallway.
They saw him in the hallway and said, "Come." That was Ewan McGregor. We'll get to that later. They saw him in the hallway and said, "Go on and audition for this," even though you're supposed to be a football player. Told the story before in this podcast. And then Wes Craven was looking over the things, and his teenage daughter said, "That's him, Dad." And she's like, "No, we wanted a bigger guy, more athletic guy." She's like, "Dad, that's him."
But do you know why he was there? Because Nicolas Cage told him to go do it.
And then he
How
was
do you
swallowed
get
by
to
a bed.
play Monopoly with Nicolas Cage without being a drug dealer, which is what he was? So I guess I answered my own question.
I'm going to say, I think you
John,
handled that.
yeah, Johnny Depp was a drug dealer when he was first came to L.A., and that's how you get to play Monopoly with Nicolas Cage. Apparently,
This
so,
explains River Phoenix's
Pete,
death
if
a
you
little
ever,
better
that's
too.
your dream, Pete, which it might be.
What, to play Monopoly with Nicolas Cage and Johnny Depp?
If you've never played Monopoly with Pete, don't do it.
Why?
Oh, I want to play. I love Monopoly.
Not
It's like my
with
favorite
Pete, you
game.
don't.
I have
Oh,
played
yeah, same with
Monopoly
me.
with Pete,
Nobody
and
likes
he's
to
a
play with
big
me.
old cheater.
What?
And then he just ends the game when he's
I get
losing.
bored? Yeah, that happens.
Pete, no, you don't end the game when you're losing, do you?
No, you know who that is? That's Bryan. I remember playing many games, starting with Risk, where he decided a worldwide earthquake happens because he doesn't like the positions of the people he has left.
That is feasible.
It also has happened in chess,
That is less feasible, but it does
Trivial
happen.
Pursuit.
Yes, the earthquake Trivial Pursuit was harder to explain.
With
Pete's not allowed to
Monopoly,
be in charge of the bank.
Yes, that's the problem.
Oranges.
Pete does a thing where
Everything, everywhere, all at once. I watched that one again the other day just for funsies.
Mm-hmm.
I
So-
haven't seen that yet.
That's the one I watched.
How
for
many
fun.
bananas?
I don't
How
know.
many bananas?
Bunch. That gets a bunch. But not more than 600.
Pete, that movie's like 2 hours long, maybe longer.
I know, I watched it like in 3 sittings.
It took him a week.
But that was the last movie
I think this was the first one. I know Pete hates when it does anything first, so it's this is another black mark against it. But I think it was the first horror movie that actually did feature the teen to young 20-something victims, because Black Christmas the same time, so they both get credit for it. But that was sorority girls, so they were also late teen 20s. I think this was the first ones that ever did that, because Psycho was about
An adult.
an adult. I think most horror was always aimed at adults. This popularized the teen targeted horror.
Yeah.
I think so. It gets a black mark for that from Pete. How dare you have ideas?
Oh, also, whatever her name was, Sally, she has a lot of cavities. I noticed that when she was screaming.
It was the 70s.
I know. Like, just take a look. She's got a mouthful of whatever that metal is they fill your cavities with. A
So do
lot.
I enjoyed the girl on the hook was her boyfriend gets chopped apart by a chainsaw in front of her. That was fun.
Oh, yeah. He was not the perm guy.
No, he was Kirk. I have written here. I could never remember his name or her name. Her name was Pam.
Yes, Pam. Pam.
And then after those two break in and meet their demise, Jerry's like, I better break into that house, see what's happening. And then he finds Pam in the freezer, which was awesome.
So was she alive? Was that
She
what
was
the
alive in
noise
the
was?
freezer.
Okay.
No, I think it was just the freezer. I don't think it was her doing anything. He just was like, he decided I'm going to check that freezer because I know they were here somewhere.
Because why wouldn't you?
Because he saw his friend's jacket.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
All right, good.
And there was the blanket on the... Was it the jacket or... And there was a blanket on the front porch, right?
I thought it was a coat, but yeah, it could be.
I think it might have been a blanket.
Okay, fine.
I don't know who had a blanket.
Everything on this podcast.
I tell you
is
what it
someone
was.
else's
Because they were
side.
going for like a picnic or whatever.
It wasn't a
right?
guitar. I can tell you that.
It's not.
No. Franklin gets the chainsaw
He does.
very
again.
unceremoniously again.
But as somebody pointed out earlier, there was not a lot of overt gore or blood in this. It
No.
was, and that's fine. See, that's a mark for it. I like that. I don't like the shock value of the like body horror or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Did
Frank-
go ahead.
No, I was going to say Franklin would have died of some kind of blood disease later on anyways.
Well, did
From the
Franklin
sharing of that knife.
Yeah.
did Franklin have to be killed in the woods because there was no wheelchair access to the house for him to break into?
He couldn't get up the stairs.
He couldn't get up the steps.
All right, that's some good script thinking.
There's no ramp, so he had to get killed in the woods. And Grandpa's my favorite character. They think in the movie.
I thought the grandparents were dead when they went into the room upstairs, and you had the two old. I thought they were both corpses sitting there, and then there was the little skeleton dog with the fur draped over the top of it. That was fantastic.
I want to know. I just remembered this. How, if they didn't have the keys to the van, were the lights on? Like the headlights. The headlights.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, especially.
Really?
Yeah. That's how you drained your battery. Like, remember, if you would turn your car off without turning off your lights, you would go inside and your batteries would drain overnight.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't turn that
We're older.
lights off. They didn't turn the lights off either. So if they had ever gotten back to their car.
When I had a car that you had to turn the lights on and off, I just kept them off because fuck that.
No, they had to put that safety feature in because there's a reason we all did it.
Yeah.
You just leave the lights on and be like, oh shit, drain my battery.
That was, I didn't know.
I have locked my keys in the car while it was still running more than once.
That sucks.
It did.
I'm on IMDb, and I just did a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The original one does not pop up anywhere. There's all the sequels and all these like.
Because chainsaw's 2 words.
Oh,
it's really not.
Mm-hmm. And the original, the fun thing about this is,
I know that it's a compound word, from what I understand.
but not the way that Tobe Hooper wrote it the first time.
Let me check then. All right, let's put it in. Oh yeah, there it is. Look at that. What an idiot.
He learned. Don't worry. He learns by the time Poltergeist rolls around. If Poltergeist isn't 2 words.
How does spell poltergeist? That was a big learning curve.
It's 3 because he just breaks it up into syllables.
Poltergeist.
Clap it out.
How many bananas does
Any other
Poltergeist
good
get?
Tobe Hooper movies?
Quite a few. Harry Belafonte wrote a whole song about it.
Yes, the Banana Boat song.
That's how many bananas that one gets.
Whole boat.
A whole boat full of bananas.
Wow.
All right.
Fit upwards of 5 bananas on a boat.
I will say I liked this movie better having watched it now than I did when I was 19. When I was 19, I remember being bored, start to finish.
How could you be bored by this movie?
Just bored.
Of frantic energy, grisly images.
It was in black and white, I think.
I think Ken's right. I think this 2014 remastered version that I watched.
Put it in color.
It put it in color, cleaned it up a little. I don't know, maybe added
like Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that's right. It was one of those things.
I don't know. I walk around like every day just at least a little bit disappointed in you, but today I feel like I'm more than usual.
It's an okay movie.
I have a little trivia question.
Oh, boy.
Oh, fun.
Okay. This is a music video that Tobe Hooper directed from the 80s, 1983. Anybody want to think a little bit? I'll give you some...
I'm going to need some clues. I couldn't name a music video or a band from 83. The Talking Heads.
It was very popular. Solo act. Used to be a punk rocker. Solo act at this point, 1983. So you're kind of talking about new wave.
Billy Idol, Dancing with Myself.
Oh my God, you got it. Would you Google that?
Really?
I'm dead serious.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to tell you you're wrong.
I know.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Stunned silence over here. All right, look at me.
Dancing with my chainsaw.
That's
so
what made me think of him, Martha.
How does Texas Chainsaw Massacre end? He's dancing with himself?
Yep. Well,
And
his
my
chainsaw.
It's an inanimate object.
That's a love story.
We thought Texas Chainsaw Massacre wasn't a love story. It was. It's about a boy and his chainsaw.
He's on one of those TLC shows, My Strange Addiction.
I think we're dangerously close to getting a third banana out of this one.
I think so. Now that you're convincing me that I was right in my initial act setup, that it was a movie about him.
It's a romantic comedy.
All right, we're
Maybe
up to 3.
It's about masturbation.
Oh.
That's what the song was about.
Masturbation.
That's what the song. Ooh, this
That's
is a
dangerous.
Maybe a chainsaw, and the chainsaw is supposed to invade a woman's body. Is it not? Because that's what it was made for.
It is.
It's
unfortunate.
Jumping real quick, I really do appreciate that. At no point was this sexual in any way. Like, she offered herself, I will do anything you want, when she was tied up to that table. No one took her up on it. They're just there to, I guess, kill people. And it wasn't malicious.
I think they didn't know what to do.
Well, because they were stealing bodies, right? They weren't killing people to start with, that we know of. They just seemed to like to kill cows.
No, they were killing people because they had a lot of cars. Remember?
Oh,
when they come in the house, they see all the abandoned cars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so they had a thing. Was it just people who keep breaking into their house in the middle of buttfuck Texas?
I think that people come to the gas station for gas. He's like, we don't really do gas here. And then they're like, oh, let's go see if they have gas. It's the only house around.
He sends them on
exactly.
their way.
But he tells them not to. Oh,
yes. Everyone tells them not to.
It's like telling a child he can't have something, so then they immediately want it.
It's like, well, which...
Well, it's like telling Pete that Poltergeist is merely great, and now Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a two-banana piece of shit.
No, it's not garbage. It's all right. I'm just saying Poltergeist is way better. I'm glad Tobe Hooper did the movies he did in the order he did.
I'm going to call the next time they put the 50th anniversary Blu-ray probably comes out next year. I'm going to make sure they put down there, it's not terrible, Pete.
It's not
Did
terrible.
you guys cover Poltergeist yet?
No,
No, that's going to have to come now.
I haven't seen it.
No.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry you're not leaving
Ken,
this
you can't see
basement
it
now, Martha.
Ken, you can't see it. He just hit her.
I'm on the ground. You
Well,
just smacked me with the microphone.
not only are you going to watch Poltergeist, we're going to do a watch-along for it,
Okay.
and then we're going to probably talk about it. Nah, it sounds like a lot of work. It's a good movie. Check it out.
He doesn't want to work for this.
He doesn't want to have to defend it.
There's nothing to defend. It defends itself. I can just sit silently while
You
you,
know
guys
what, though,
watch
Pete?
it.
I'll say I just think it gets too much credit for being the first to do it because I saw things done better in Insidious that were basically I just thought it was done better. I know it was done first, and everyone's it's so great because Poltergeist did it first. I don't know. I just feel like I've seen it before. It's been done. It's been
Which
done
one
better.
was Insidious? Is that the one with
Patrick Wilson.
He's in every movie there is.
I was going to
Okay,
say.
sorry.
I was going to say.
Rose Byrne and Patrick Wilson with the kid in the door and the
further.
devil man with
Pale
the...
imitation of Poltergeist. I remember that was in my
I'll
notes.
take
for
Lynn
that
Shay
movie.
over Zelda Rubinstein every time.
Who's
love
Zelda
Lynn Shay.
Rubinstein?
Zelda Rubinstein. This house is clean.
Oh, yeah, I'll give it that.
Pop question. Pop quiz.
Pop quiz, hot shot.
What other horror movie did Lynn Shay make an appearance in? Just a quick...
Sinister. Wait, what year is it?
Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's, yep.
Yeah, she's the teacher.
Good job.
And then she's in Wes Craven's Nightmare. She's a nurse.
You were both staring at me intently, and I don't know who that person was for the first part of the question.
Lynn Shay?
Yeah. I was trying to remember who she was. I know who she is now.
Okay.
But you were both staring at me like, yup, that's knowledge we're dropping on you, Pete. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
She's Bob Shea's sister. Bob Shea ran New Line Cinema. So she would get little roles and things. But
There
then
you go.
somebody finally just figured out, like, oh, she's fucking great.
She's actually a good
Let's make her
actress.
like the star of movies instead of just having her do these walk-ons. Yeah. Any Lynn Shay
What do you
stories for us,
think-
Ken?
Any what?
Lynn Shay story?
No. I'm sorry. I have a lot of feedback over here. No, that's not true. I don't know who she is. But I do know this. I do know the IMDb rating for both movies. So why don't you guys guess the IMDb rating for Texas Chainsaw Massacre first, then Poltergeist?
7.6 for Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
What's the scale?
Out of 10?
Is it banana?
It's out of 10, and they use a decimal system.
7.6.
So you could take some-
I'm going to go
Okay,
ahead
so-
and agree with Bryan because I'm sure he knows.
All right, yeah, me too.
You're gonna all agree with Bryan?
8.1.
I'm going to go with a 4.
Okay.
No, that's not
okay,
true.
that's
All
fine.
right, I'm going to go with 7. Just a straight 7.
Okay, and how about Poltergeist?
10.
7.5.
11. All of the points.
6.6.
7.5.
All of the points.
Okay. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 7.4. Poltergeist 7.3.
Yes!
What?
Success. Result.
Who's in charge of
I'm
the
just
internet?
saying my top 10 list is
Hello, I'd like to speak to the person in charge of the internet. I'm sure it's a man. Can I speak to the man in charge of the internet? Al Gore.
See,
I'll leave a message for you. I'll leave a message.
Yeah.
You're Bryan, right?
He's going to make 7,000 accounts and click 10s for Poltergeist and 0 for Texas Chainsaw until that flips.
I feel like I'm going to have a new little job to do the next time I have to watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for something.
To create those bots. To
You've
go
been
on there.
judged by the internet. And the internet is infallible.
I heard the jury was still out on
The Internet Movie Database.
It's the database for movies on the internet. Doesn't get any bigger than that.
But their scale is
You
off.
go to Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm
Rotten
terrified to be going to Rotten Tomatoes now. All right, go ahead and do it.
Do Rotten
Is
Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes, is this the populace? This is where the real people vote
I'll
and
tell you
not
both. I'll
weirdos
tell
on
you both.
IMDb?
This is just a simple thumbs up, thumbs down. So
I can't
percentage
do
of
that.
people give a thumbs up, percentage give a thumbs down.
I sprained my thumb,
Um,
so I can't give anything a thumbs up. Sorry,
I'm
Texas Chainsaw
very curious what's
Massacre.
going to happen here, and I'm very afraid.
I'm not afraid. This is where the people speak, and
No.
they're going to say,
Okay, here
I'm
we
not
go.
afraid either. It's like when I watch Poltergeist.
Oh, okay, let's do Texas Chainsaw Massacre first because I got that one pulled up. There's two. There's the audience score. There's the tomato meter, whatever the hell that is.
I'm going to say it's
So
fresh.
that's the critics. That's
The
the
thermometer.
Critics. All right. Yeah, the thermometer. Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm going to say a
Okay.
94.
Oh, they go
A
percentage.
94 on the thermometer. Okay. And any other
75.
75? How
85.
about Pete?
85 for the original. Texas.
All right.
Whatever.
Pete
Yes.
wins. It's 89% though. 89%.
All right, then,
How
just
about
like the last one.
audi-
The audience one, I'll say... Oh, fuck, the audience is really tough on movies. Tougher than the critics.
60.
75.
84.
82.
So close. I'm always over, though. I'm never going to win. All right, I'll say Poltergeist. If Texas Chainsaw was 89, then I'm sticking with it. Poltergeist is an 88. You're gonna give me that sweet one less.
83.
Let me see. I gotta.
What's the highest?
Dig out all this poltergeist crap out there.
100.
100?
Highest is 100%.
Then 100.
2 bananas, Pete. 2 bananas is
2
high.
bananas it is.
100. Nobody's ever given a
why
bad
can't I
review to
find-
Poltergeist.
What is there to
Why
judge
are-
poorly?
Poltergeist 2 is 20%. No, I'm sorry. I gotta find Poltergeist 1. What's the?
It's 2 words.
Oh, here
It's
it is.
three.
Here it is. I found it. Okay, Poltergeist. Hold on a second. Okay, so Poltergeist, the tomato meter. Sorry, tomato meter. What do you think?
100.
88.
83.
88 exactly. So 1% off. 1%, just like IMDb. Now, how about the audience score?
100.
76.
83.
I like your consistency.
79.
That's less. That's less.
Also high.
But also less
That
than
is
Texas
less.
Chainsaw.
But is it...
Yeah.
So now we've done people on Internet Movie Database, people on Rotten Tomatoes, and reviewers in history on Rotten Tomatoes. So there's nowhere left to turn.
And both love both movies. Let's not, let's be honest.
Yes, they just loved one little more.
Slightly more than the other one, but the other one is a top 10.
But who are these
and
people?
one is a top 1.
Who are these people who are giving
There's
their
a-
opinions?
The people.
What do I care about their opinion? What else did they judge? How do they
didn't
rank
you
things?
just say you
Let's
wanted
find
to
out.
hear from
Can
the
you
people?
look up Searching for Bobby Fischer?
That's a fine movie.
I'm going to say it's
can look
100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Who could ever give a bad review to Search for Bobby Fischer? It's impossible.
Who could never not see it except for me?
Oh, you're missing out. That's one I put on for
Who could-
funsies.
All right, I'm looking for it.
It's 100. There's no way anybody give it a bad review. There's zero chance.
What's your 100% movie, Martha? Well,
I was just Googling what the 100% movies were.
Oh, were you? Mm-hmm. It's Poltergeist. I think we established that already.
My 100% movie?
Just you personally.
Okay, searching for Bobby Fischer, tomato meter. You guys are saying what, 100%?
Yeah.
100%.
It is 100%.
Now, of course it is. Nobody give that movie a bad review. It's impossible.
Why not? What's wrong with it?
Nothing's wrong with it.
What's
It's
so great about it?
Well,
What's so good about it?
it's about this guy who has a
Who
chainsaw
cares?
and he runs around. There's
That's
a
what
woman
I'm
screaming.
saying.
This is when he
That's
loses
what
a
I'm
chess
saying.
match.
I'm trying to give you a hysterectomy or whatever, and like she can't understand if you've got the
C-section.
mask on. C-section, exactly. That's what I meant.
Hysterectomy. Just cut you in half.
I
No
like the
more
idea
uterus.
that we've become so
That's why they
enslaved
call
by
it
the internet
hysterectomy.
that you can no longer ask, like, what's your favorite movie? You said, what's your 100% movie?
Mine is
Okay,
Wedding Singer.
what's the audience score? Oh, Wedding Singer. Oh my
That's
God.
a
That's my
Billy,
favorite
a
movie.
Billy
Oh,
Idol
for Texas,
vehicle.
for
Directed by
Search for Bobby
Tobe
Fischer?
Hooper.
It's probably in the 60s or something.
All right. I'll accept that. What do you think for the audience score on Bobby Fischer?
100. Again, nobody dislikes that movie. And Martha's going with The Wedding Singer. That's another one that people like that I think is just all
I'll
right.
look up.
It's all
my
right.
favorite
Me too.
movie.
I'm more of a Billy Madison guy, but
Hey, that's
I'll
a
look
good
up
one.
Wedding Singer. Yeah, that's a good one.
I don't think it's an either-or situation.
86% for your audience.
That's better than I thought. A lot of uncultured swines out there.
Apparently
All right.
voting
Now,
really
what do you-
high for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Wedding Singer tomato meter. You guys want to guess or no? Are we good?
No, I don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's... I love the movie, too.
Yeah, I don't really care what anybody else thinks.
I'm going to say 68%.
I have nothing to say.
Oh, everyone
It's
doesn't
100 in my
care when
heart.
it suddenly turns against them. Whoa,
Hey, Pete,
the audience means nothing.
I'll tell you something, Pete. We're both right. It is way better. The Poltergeist and the old Texas Chainsaw Massacre is way better than the Wedding Singer. 72% tomato meter.
That's not bad.
I'll take it.
Audience
For an Adam Sandler
Audience-
comedy, that's pretty good.
Well, his newest one is
yeah.
like his highest rated. It was like 96%, which was not a bad movie.
Quick Nick Cage update. Nick Cage starring in Dream Scenario. Scenario?
Either way.
Whatever.
Tomato?
Yeah. Rotten Tomato.
So what's the scenario? It's coming out November 10th and almost starred Adam Sandler instead of Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I love Adam Sandler.
What?
Oh, what?
What?
That's just okay. You can
You
like
can't
some
say
of
this
his
at home,
movies,
but
you can't say I love. Yeah, I hit her.
Why can't I say I love Adam Sandler?
because of the Water Boy. I don't know. Is that a good enough answer?
Jack and
High
Jill.
quality H2O.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
What?
Because,
No,
because of
I'm not going to say he has all the greatest movies, but he has the most
Zohan was
movies
good.
on my top 5 movie list.
No.
Yes.
No.
Zohan is good. Did you see the Zohan one? That was a fun one.
Yes.
But you
No.
like. But
That was a good-
no.
I love Adam Sandler.
But you have such good taste in horror.
Yeah.
No.
What?
I've heard from other podcasts.
You watch Texas Chainsaw for fun.
Yeah. I also watch
That's
The
what the
Wedding
women
Singer when I'm
like.
sad.
Wedding Singer's my favorite Adam Sandler movie. Billy Madison is 2.
Happy Gilmore.
How about
Big Daddy.
No, I'm aware of his
First Date?
filmography.
Whatever. I love him. I love a good Adam Sandler rom-com.
With Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
I have Wedding Singer CD soundtrack in my house because of my wife.
See?
Wow.
She loves Adam Sandler. She
What?
loves Adam Sandler.
I have the lyrics
Loves
printed and framed in my bedroom to grow old with you.
What was the
I
score
have-
of The Wedding
I
Singer?
have
The
a lock
audience
of his
score?
hair. I have a lock of his hair
Well, fuck off, Ken.
ingrained in my hair.
Stop trying to one-up me. Jesus.
That's pretty fancy. That's like Texas
I
Chainsaw
have
Massacre.
5 of
fancy.
his toenails
Ew.
implanted into my toenails.
You should make a belt.
I have a nipple belt
A toenail
I have a
belt.
nipple belt
of Adam Sandler.
for Adam Sandler fans.
What was The Wedding Singer audience score?
72?
Would you care to guess what the Billy Madison score was?
No.
Audience
79.
Or the Rotten
Ooh,
Tomatoes.
I
I bet the
believe it,
Rotten
'cause-
Tomato score's in the 38.
His newest movie is like 96. You're not.
I believe
you're
the
so not
audience
invited
score.
to my bat mitzvah. That was a good movie.
I
Uh-oh.
didn't even know he had a new one.
It's on Netflix. It's his daughter's,
Ah,
and he's the dad.
he was with Jennifer Aniston or something on Netflix.
Yeah,
Murder
2 of those
Mystery
murder
1 and
mystery
2.
movies.
Which
All
are
right.
also fun.
All right, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre's all right. Billy Madison's clearly the best of the Adam Sandler movies. And Poltergeist is fantastic. I got that.
You
Good
know
talk.
what? You know?
I
Do you know
just-
what
I
Wedding
agree
Singer
with one
has
of
that Billy Madison doesn't? Billy Idol.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Directed by Tobe Hooper.
Get out of my way, Billy. My favorite moment in the movie.
You guys have to talk. I don't remember that movie very well. And I just watched it a couple years ago.
For fun?
No, Kitty made me.
Oh.
She somehow couldn't
The
believe
opposite
that.
of fun.
She couldn't believe that I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It's
Which
all right.
movie?
Wedding Singer.
Oh, she doesn't just make you have a podcast about it where we yell at you for
Yeah,
an
not
hour?
that good.
No, she just makes me watch it. It was all right.
Oh, it's all right. Let's just get out.
Not terrible.
I liked it more when I first saw it, and then after I thought about it a while, I'm like, eh.
You don't think about it. You
I
just
did.
enjoy it. You just sit and enjoy.
What are you thinking about?
I was thinking about, you know what? It was longer than it should have been.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking about.
You can't see it, but I'm rolling my eyes.
They're going to roll out of your head.
I
You
can,
can see my brain.
I can feel the silence over there. And I got to say, him and his singing in his songs, not good. Not even cute.
I'm just going to say,
I'm sorry.
it's a really
What?
good thing that we did Fresh first because everyone's going to be very mad at each other by the time we finish this one off. And we had a really nice time.
Ken, I'm hanging up on you.
We had a really nice time watching Fresh. We talked about some dick biting off.
You missed it, Ken. If you ever saw Fresh, there's a dick biting scene. It was right up your alley.
Oh, man.
It's the only
I
thing
love
missing in
that.
Adam Sandler movies.
Is his dick?
You can't see it, but I raised my eyebrows.
All right.
You're in trouble over there.
Ken, do you
I
wanna-
like me some Adam Sandler.
This was an episode.
Yeah.
I'm still not convinced.
I
You
didn't like
guys,
Finger Man.
you guys made a lot of good points.
You know, it's okay.
a fine
It's okay,
movie.
Pete. It's okay.
a fine movie. It's not better than Poltergeist,
It's
and
okay.
it's not the greatest movie ever made for horror.
It's okay you're not convinced because the
It's
50th anniversary
okay.
is 1 year
It could be
away.
wrong.
And we will bring it back
It's okay
around.
to not be right.
I'll
It's
try.
okay to dance to your own drummer, or whatever they say, March, I believe.
Dance
your
to
own-
your own chainsaw.
There it is.
No, but that's
Okay
too
not
good. We
to
got
love
to
the
end
Wedding
now.
Singer.
You got to end now, and I'm going to ask people for their plugs.
Oh, plugs. Anyone plug
Yeah,
anything?
let's plug something. How about the Wedding Singer?
I plug the
Martha?
wedding singer. Starsandpavement.com, Facebook, Instagram. Find me there.
You would.
What?
I hope your husband doesn't listen to this. You would plug the Wedding Singer. Oh my god. I
Are we
don't
talking
get it.
about doing Adam Sandler? Because I 100% would.
And also, her husband is just a skin
I
mask
would-
now.
That's right.
He can't come to the phone right now.
He's gonna put the skin mask on Adam Sandler.
That's right.
He's reading through it too.
Well, he's slammable.
He is slammable.
He's slammable.
There it is. So is Sebastian Stan.
Got a call back from months ago, and it took me forever to remember the word.
Yeah.
I was like,
would
the
like
word
to plug
can't just be
Billy
fuckable.
Madison.
That's just too on the nose.
Slammable.
Slammable.
All right, a plug for Billy Madison from our foreign correspondent, starsandpavement.com. Check it out. Poltergeist, check it out. Martha, I can't believe there's people out there who have never seen it. So if you are, like Martha, starved for good quality films, go check out Poltergeist.
Martha, you haven't seen Poltergeist?
No.
Oh, you got to see that.
So
That's
I'll watch it and
movie.
I'll come on next time you talk about
Yes,
it.
and then I would like to plug 1 year from now when we recover the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for its 50th anniversary and try to make Pete understand.
I've already started. I'm going to look up where the etymology of Texas came from.
Pete's just going to be a skin suit.
Yeah.
That way you can't disagree then.
The First Men in Black. That's a movie I'll put on for fun.
I think people in Texas can't read compound words.
And that's why it's chainsaw.
They were sending the script out for people to the college kids to come and audition for, and they were like, "This word's too long. It's a $5 word. We don't do $5 words."
French word?
That's my British guy.
One French word is enough.
Escargot.
My
Ooh.
cargo 160 swiftly.
Nice. I like your references today, Martha.
Thanks.
Aside from that Adam Sandler
this
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
That sounds like city folk music. I don't like that.
City Slickers.
Out here in London.
How did we get there?
But not on one of them planes, I'll tell you that much. I built a canoe.
Across the Atlantic.
Yeah, it was hard to get to the water first. Long way to go.
It's all scraped up on the bottom.
Well, you know what we say here in London?
Paddling
Sliding
down the
down
road.
hills.
You know what we say here in London? Yeehaw. See you next week for who knows what. Possibly.
Hopefully it's that see no evil here, no touch me or whatever the
It
hand.
could be Talk to Me. It could be Talk to Me.
I gotta watch that one.
It could be Talk to Me.
Touch
I know
me.
that we'll be back on the 25th with the Halloween watch along I've been trying to do for a full year.
Fun.
I went to the theater and saw it, so I got fresh notes in my head.
You got fresh
A
notes
year
on
ago
paper
from
too.
last year.
You got fresh notes on paper too.
Until he loses it.
Yeah, it's true.
It'll be gone by then.
I should have pushed this button when I did the yeehaw.
Yeah, you should.
There's a lesson.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Come to the Eiffel Tower
Y'all
in
come back
France.
now. You hear?